143. Hazardous materials incident. Box 316. North Highway 78 and Spring Creek Parkway.
Hi, I'm Hazmat Specialist Robert Nishiyama, and today we're going to do some training on Pump Cart 143. Today's training is only going to be on Pump Cart 143. Pump Cart 143 can only pump hydrocarbons, so keep that in mind when you're thinking of doing a pump-off procedures. Keep in mind that anytime you go through any pump-off procedures that you still have to do your grounding and bonding. This is the position of storage. It's going to be stored in the upright position. Pump Cart 143 is also capable of being transformed into a four-wheel cart for easy transport. In order to put this into the four-wheel position, we're going to pull the pin on the side, pull the handle out, bring it down to the four-wheel position, slide it into the receiving end, place the pin back in there. This also allows you for easy transport across highways and roads. Now let's talk nomenclature. What you see here is how the pump's going to be stored on the hazmat. Everything is going to be included and sitting there ready for use. We'll start with the 4,500 PSI SCBA bottle. That's attached to a bracket. Coming down here, you have your Paratech air regulator, and we'll talk about how to operate that here shortly. You got a high pressure hose that feeds out of the Paratech regulator into another regulator that leads into your pump. This is your pump. It pumps at approximately 49 GPMs. And what we have here is two hydrocarbon hoses. Both hydrocarbon hoses are 25 foot in length, and they come with these cam locking mechanisms for easy connection onto the pump and to the stingers. Here you have your two copper stingers. These are a little over 3 foot in length. These are going to be used for sticking into your pump tank and your pump off tank. They also have the two cam connections on the end. Now we're going to talk about setup procedures. Remember, before you start pumping off, you might have to ground and bond depending on what type of liquid you're dealing with. Make sure you make all your connections before you start pumping. And we'll start with our hydrocarbon hoses. So if you look down at the cart, you'll notice that we put reflective arrows on the cart, indicating the direction of flow of the liquid. So right now, Firefighter Jones is hooking to the discharge side of the pump, as indicated by that arrow. If you look down here, here's the intake side of the pump. Firefighter Clayton's also going to hook to that. You slide the cam onto the pump, and then you pull back the cam ears to lock them in place. Next step of the process is hook the stinger up to the hose. You're going to place the male end in to the cam and pull back the cam ears until it locks. The next step is going to be to place the stinger into the receiving damaged container. For instructional purposes only today, we're using 55-gallon drum with water. The next step will be to replace the stinger or the hose into the receiving container. For today's purposes, we're just going to let the water flow out into the parking lot. First thing you need to confirm before you do anything is confirm that both regulators are turned completely off. You do that by looking on the end of the handle here and the end of this knob here and turning it all the way to the counterclockwise position. The next step would be to turn on the SCBA bottle. Once that's complete, you should get pressure on the pressure gauge here. You come over to this regulator and you watch this pressure gauge right here, and you turn to the plus until you read 100 psi. Now you're ready to pump. The next step would be to come over here to this regulator handle and turn it in the clockwise position until you start hearing the pump operate. Once it starts to operate, you want to keep an eye on the gauge. You want to try to keep it at a PSI of 40. This pump cannot go above 50. It's very important that you don't go above 50 PSI or it'll damage the pump. So now that I got it at about 40 PSI, I'll keep an eye on that and make sure that it stays at that. You may have to adjust it a little in or a little out. It'll pump off 55 gallons in about 3 minutes. We also have the capability with this pump cart to run our air tools off of it. We can hook up to the Paratech regulator and run our drill to do a hot tap into a saddle tank. Another feature that's pretty cool about the pump cart is we're able to run it off of our calves on the Quint. To do that, it's pretty simple. Just reach down here to the Paratech regulator, disconnect it from there, and then hook it into the air hose, which also connects to the calves. It's pretty easy to run it off the calves. You just run it at the idle speed. Will give you enough PSI. Again, it's important to remember before you hook it up to get running on the air to make sure you turn this all the way off, and then only run the pressure up to no more than 40 to 50 PSI on the regulator on the pump. Or you can also use the pump cart off of the squad as well. So that's going to bring today's training to an end. Remember, next time you're at Station 3, get on the trailer, pull the equipment off, try it out, get your hands on it, and get more familiar with it. Thanks. Now let's talk note. All right, so that's going to conclude